I'm going to give a summary of The Awakening. The opening scene, the novel opens with the parrot saying, "Go away." This parrot speaks many languages as well as a language no one understands. The first scene foreshadows the rest of the novel, with the parrot symbolizing the main character Edna, who similarly lives a life no one understands and therefore pushes everyone away. Edna and her family begin this story during a summer vacation in Grand Isle. At the beginning of the vacation, Edna loves her life with simple obligations such as being a wife and mother. But over the course of the summer, she begins to change as a woman and finds new desires to be free of the strains of society. Robert LeBrun, a young man also vacationing in Grand Isle, is a major influence in this change and serves as a temptation throughout the summer. As time passes, Edna goes through many experiences which give her confidence to stray away from going along with whatever she is told to do, and eventually discovers an identity of herself she never knew she had. One of these experiences is when she swims for the first time. Although she had continuously failed to swim, on this specific day, Edna finds the strength to swim all alone. While in the ocean, Edna describes the freedom she feels. Throughout the novel, the ocean symbolizes freedom and is another temptation for Edna is Robert. Another experience that shows Edna's changing ways is when she goes on a trip to an island off the coast of Grand Isle. Although her husband would definitely not approve of this, Edna still goes. When Edna wakes up after taking a nap on the island, she says, "How many years have I slept? The whole island seems changed. A new race of beings must have sprung up, leaving only you and me as past relics." This shows how going on a trip with Robert without care of her husband's thoughts has showed her the possibility of a new world much different than her past imprisoned lifestyle. With all of Edna's progress towards freedom, she is continuously walking toward giving the temptation of an affair with Robert LeBrun. Robert senses this and also realizes his own desires and chooses to leave the island to avoid partaking in an act that is looked down upon in their society. He tells the rest of the island that he leaves for business. Shortly after Robert's departure, summer ends and Edna and the rest of the families return to New Orleans. Although the temptation for Robert is gone, Edna now finds new desires. She now desires to be free of all of her responsibility. Edna no longer sits at home on Tuesdays to tour her home, begins painting, and even engages in an affair with a man in their town. Her husband and children do not understand the changes Edna is going through and try to support her. But just as the pair at the beginning of the story, Edna does not want their help, and they do not understand her. Edna eventually moves out of her family's home and into a pigeon home. She begins visiting Mademoiselle Reyes to listen to her play the piano. Listening to Mademoiselle opens Edna's mind to images of freedom. Music and art, similar to swimming in the ocean, are activities that allow Edna to freely be herself. But on one of her visits, Edna learns that Robert has been writing letters to Mademoiselle concerning Edna. Edna later learns that Robert is returning to New Orleans for a visit within the next few days. When Edna and Robert see each other for the first time, it is very awkward and neither of them express their feelings for each other. A day later, the temptation becomes too strong when they run into each other at a nearby garden. Edna asks Robert to visit her at her pigeon home where they have their first kiss. After kissing, they discuss their strong feelings for each other until Edna is pulled away by Madame Radignoli, who asks for Edna's assistance as she gives birth to a child. When Edna returns, she finds a note Robert has left for her that says, "I love you, goodbye, because I love you." This is a critical turning point in Edna's journey where she realizes that one man she thought understood her does not. This causes Edna to feel even more scared and alone than she ever has. She stays awake all night thinking about every aspect of her life from her children to Robert. When she wakes up, Edna chooses to return to Grand Isle. More than ever, the freedom the sea offers seduces Edna. After saying hello to some friends on the island, Edna walks onto the beach, strips off all of her clothing, and walks into the ocean. For a brief moment, she thinks of her family, Robert, and all the people she is leaving behind. Other than that, Edna has a blank mind until moments before her drowning death, where she pictures scenes from her childhood. Edna drowns with the image of open fields and birds chirping in her mind.